The most inspirational thing I have ever in my life heard is the person in the Bible that God called his friend. And it blew my mind. It's such a simple statement. To be the friend of God. If God is your friend, you ain't worried about nothing. You're not worried about nothing. Like, yo, I will sick God on you, dog. Like, leave me alone. I will sick God on you. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to do nothing. Do you know who my homie is? You know what I'm saying? And so it blew my mind. And since that day, all I want is to earn the possibility that God would call me his friend. Woo! Woo! What can you say to me that's bigger than that? You can't tell me nothing about money, position, power on this earth. There's nothing you can say to me that's bigger than if God said David Alexander is my friend and you will not have him. Woo! What are you going to tell me? Now, I go into the room. There's a picture with a collage of pictures of everybody in the family, right? Him too, in all the pictures. And so the picture's laying on his bed as if somebody had held it up for him and just left it there when they left the room. So my grandmother had told me he had the strokes and everything, so I'd come to see him. We're alone, I look around, and my grandmom's doing stuff, and I took his hand. And I put my hand on his, and I said, "Oh boy, I am not your judge. I am not your judge. Whatever you're going through right now, I know you hear me in there. I just want you to know I'm your son. I'm not your judge. I don't wish to see you like this, and I don't hold nothing against you, man. You got to walk your own walk with God, man. I don't hold it against you, but I just want you to know I'm a good man, and I do good in this world. And you would be proud of me, dog. I do good in this world. I'm going to erase this fucking stain, dog."
John, I can't relate, but I mean, like,
Yeah, I got you, baby.
mom, and so like it's like my mom passed away when I was going into my teen years. So same thing, like similar thing. You go through puberty as a kid, and you don't have for you a male figure in your life. For me, a female figure, and like I don't know who to talk to. I can't talk to my dad about this, and it's true. Kids do a lot of, and I say kids, and I mean like our unhealed inner kid, because a lot of people that have been through this level of shit in their life carry this with them well into their early, mid, late 20s. Some people never put it down.
I believe a lot of what you say, that the food, eating the right foods can definitely improve your health. But I also know that here in America, we have food that is killing us. And I don't mean just the gluttony of food. I'm talking about the product of food. I'm talking about how and the worst word you can say to me is vegan or plant-based, because it took a lot of work to get me to look so good. It's a this is a no vegetable zone. Like I've worked hard to get in the no vegetable zone, but it's a joke. It's a joke, people. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. Welcome to the Common Ground Podcast, where stories connect, perspectives collide, and purpose is found in the middle.
Every week, we sit down with unique and inspiring guests that come from all walks of life. People who challenge the status quo, overcome the odds, and live with intentionality.
Whether you're driving to work, on your morning walk, or just looking for that spark to ignite your week, you're in the right place.
Welcome to the Common Ground Podcast with your hosts, John Fletcher and Sydney Curtin.
Welcome to the Common Ground Podcast. Yes, it is your boy, Philly in the house. Actually, there's two Phillies in the house, but we'll get to that later. It is your boy, John, here with you today. And as always, I am just so excited to be here. And today with me, as always, I don't know. The age-old question was Ginger or Mary, but somebody needed to add Sydney into the mix, because with me is Sydney, and I think Sydney would have destroyed both Ginger and Mary. So I don't know. I don't even know if you know that reference, Sydney, but Gilligan's Island was a show back in the day, and it's an island full of guys and a married couple, but it was always who was hotter, Ginger or Mary. Ginger was this redhead movie star, and Mary was the girl next door kind of girl. So for all those who I just named my age
Man,
and
you make me
let
feel
everybody
so
know.
young, and I'm really not. Like, it's like my brothers are both born in the 2000s, and you just make me feel like I'm just this spring chicken over here. Love you for that.
Uh, and now I feel so old, but but as always, I had the beautiful and awesome Cindy with me, so I'm excited for today. So this weekend, I'm out with my without my boy, and he goes, "Did you hear about the Italian chef who died?" I was like, "Really? No, I didn't hear about it." He goes, "Yeah, he passed away."
Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right. You got a second one?
I do. It may not be better than the first.
Is it carb heavy?
Why was the pizzeria desperate for business? Because they needed the dough.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that one a little better. Let us know in the comments which one of John's dad jokes takes the cake for the week.
They were both more, I guess, no, I don't, pizza isn't pasta, but sauce related.
Carb heavy.
Carb heavy, definitely carb heavy. But with us today, that brings us to today's episode. And today we have Mr. David Alexander, most known for as ChefSouL. Hi, David. Or do you want us
Hello,
to call you
hello.
Chef? What do you prefer to be called today?
Nah, you could just call me David.
David.
Dave. Call me anything but asshole.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, I won't do that. I promise.
Gotcha.
But
John's line is you can call me anything but late for dinner. So
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So before we get started, our guest today is David Alexander, widely recognized as ChefSouL. David is a lifelong culinary professional, a student of holism, and a holistic consultant who has transformed the traditional role of chef into a mission for total wellness. Through his brand From Kitchen to Core, David explores the intersection of nutrition, healing, and the human spirit. But his creativity doesn't stop at the kitchen door. David is also a gifted musician who understands the rhythmic connection between sound and soul. He joins us today to discuss how we can find balance and longevity in a chaotic world, and how the art of the meal can be a gateway to deeper self actualization. So, welcome again, David, to the Common Ground podcast.
Thank you for allowing me into your space. And you knocked the intro out the park. I'm copywriting that. I'm using it, stepping on it. Absolutely. That was off the hook, man. I didn't know I did all that stuff, so thank you. The check's in the mail, baby. Like, we clear. You did your job. I appreciate it. It's like, no, no.
to be in for it today. I got two Philly boys in the house. So David,
You know it, you know it, you know it.
Yep. Well, thanks again for being here. This is going to be a lively one. Guys, David's a character, so he's going to keep you on your toes today. But give
Mhm.
us a little bit of background here because, listen, you've lived a lot of lives, music, medicine, cooking. You've been through a lot. Where do they all tie in together?
So it starts with the basic idea of the way that I was introduced into what you would call religion. And so, being from African American descent, a lot of us come into are from birth brought into, Christianity and Christian mindset. And so it just, being inquisitive as a young man, I had learned that uh the the deeper meanings of things that were said in the Bible. So like when God spoke to man and told him to live, written within the deeper word of live in Hebrew, for instance, is not only the idea of existing, but enjoying the fullness of the experience of living, right? So that makes it deeper. So I was always a kid that wanted to see deeper. And so that's why for me everything I do is just deeper. My moniker as a musician was Brother Soul. My moniker as a chef is Chef Soul because I want to get past this initial layer that you show me. And with every interaction I have with every human being, I am trying to get in there and touch your soul. It's okay to show me all the good stuff about you, your accomplishments, this, that, and then, but I want to know what keeps you up at night, why you can't sleep, why you feel in the pit of your stomach like you're not worthy, why you're depressed, why you're stressed. That's what I want to know because in that is my calling to help you get out of that.
Mm, I love that. That's such a I love how deep the root words in the Hebrew language go. I
It's
actually
amazing.
it's an incredible language. I named my mobile application. I own an AI application, and the root word of my application comes from Hebrew. It's lev. And lev,
Yes,
Lev, means not just like people think about this like heart and mind. It is the connection between heart and mind.
yes, yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So yeah, so my app is Lev AI. So I love that you started with that. And I love that you
Mhm.
lead from the soul because we got ChefSouL and then all of these other things that you do. What do you want
Yes.
people to like feel about you before they even meet you, regardless of the arena that you're impacting them?
I want people to feel one, that who told you you can't do something? Who told you that you can't quit smoking? Who told you that you can't lose weight? Who told you that? I'm the guy that's going to tell you, man, reject that.
Mhm.
I can help you get to how, if I don't know, I know who knows. And we could get you to that place where you want to be. Because who told you all these other things? So I feel like in the balance of the universe, like I'm almost like a superhero. I love Marvel. I'm a Marvel geek. I love the idea of being a knight, of being chivalrous, of being a gentleman, of being the hero, the guy in white that wins at the end. I love that whole thing. And so I try to embody it. So, and I believe that I'm a servant. One of the deepest things I've ever learned is that the highest level you could achieve in this life is that of a servant.
Hmm.
Mm,
Because what is the president of the United States but a servant? What is Congress? Servants. What are you guys doing? Serving people, information.
amen. Such a good perspective.
Yeah, it's actually one of the things that I talk about most when I talk about leadership is actually servitude. That most people think leadership is having people serve you. What true leadership is serving others. Is
Yes, sir.
and so we always seem to uh to get that backwards, or a lot of people seem to
Yes.
get that backwards. But
Yes.
you talked about religion. Was it your religious upbringing that inspired you to go deeper, or was it like family? Was it the people who you grew up with who inspired you to go deeper?
I think, at different points in life, it becomes a bit of all of those things. But I got to be honest, man. I'm not trying to gain any points with anybody. This is really from the soul or from the heart. When I tell you that the most inspirational thing I have ever, ever in my life heard is the person in the Bible that God called his friend. And it blew my mind. It's such a simple statement. To be the friend of God. If God is your friend, you ain't worried about nothing. You're not worried about nothing. Like, yo, I will sick God on you, dog. Like, leave me alone. I will sick God on you. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to do that. Do you know who my homie is? You know what I'm saying? And so it blew my mind. And since that day, all I want is to earn the possibility that God would call me his friend. Woo! Woo! What can you say to me that's bigger than that? You can't tell me nothing about money, position, power on this earth. There's nothing you can say to me that's bigger than if God said David Alexander is my friend and you will not have him. Woo! What are you going to tell me? So that's the inspiration, man. And food comes in the fact that in order to get I believe to get God's people to a state When is the last time God called man perfect? I'll tell you. It's when he first created us and we still had a mind to eat the right thing and do the right things. That's the last time he said, because ever since then, he's like, I'm this close away from destroying all of y'all.
Yeah.
Call yourself whatever you want, Muslim, Christian, whatever you want. Guess what? We're still one step away from him being like, you know what? That's it. That's it.
White poo? Yeah.
That's it. I said I wouldn't do it by fire, but I didn't say I wouldn't use other means.
Yeah, by water. Yeah, he said he won't flood.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'll keep my promise. I didn't say I'd do it. I'll never do it by floods again, but I
Yeah.
might give you some other crazy stuff. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, and just straight up, like I said, man, it really starts from that. And so now food comes in because the last time we were perfect, we were on Adam's diet.
Mm,
And so from some studying with some, see, I'm a man that I always been looking. So it led me to Islam. I ran away from home and studied with some Muslims. I studied their religious system. I studied their thought patterns. And I was like, okay, I don't 100% agree, but I see congruity in the Christian from different from the Christianity base I grew up. So I didn't have a problem with it because I saw, instead of differences, I saw where things are the same. You ain't supposed to murder in none of them. You ain't supposed to sleep with another man's wife. So there's equal things in all of them. Your right to rituals is another thing. So what I just kept looking. I want to know who is the in order to be God's friend, I have to find his real character. So again, I'm sorry to get off, but the way it leads back to food is in order to be in a healthy mind state, your temple and your body has to be together in order to access the true power because your diet can absolutely cause you to be out of alignment because that's all dis-ease is.
oh, yeah.
Dis-ease equals unbalance equals out of alignment, baby.
Mhm. I love that. We're gonna have to get into that a little bit more because I'd love to pick your brain about that. Don't know if it'll be on this show or if I'm just gonna bug you late at night when I've got questions and my mind's racing, but we're
Feel
gonna talk
free.
about that. The people that see you today are just like, this guy is just he's so full of life. And like you said, there's nothing that can get in the way of what you just said. That opportunity for God to say, that guy's a friend of mine. There's nothing that beats it. But that wasn't always your life person. Like it wasn't always just this. You've been through a lot of BS to get to where you are. At one point you and I had something similar said to us that the life that we've carried was similar to the equivalent trauma level of somebody who's been to war. And you were in the military too, but what are the early wounds that shaped you where you had the opportunity to let it make you or break you?
Well, from the from my very inception into this life, this is something I share is very deep to me. And I only recently been able to express it because I had to talk to my family and make sure nobody would feel any type of way about what I'm about to tell you. But from the very rip, my grandmother has 7 daughters. My mother is the second eldest. And at the age of 14, a very impressionable age, my grandmother had remarried. Uh, And, it's the 1960s and early 70s, and a woman with 7 kids, 7 daughters, trying to cover all the bases. That person would think, I need help, I need a man. And so my grandmother chose a man that she thought, was, all the way legitimate. This man not only became my mother's stepfather and her second husband, but he birthed me. He had a illicit relationship with my mother, and it began just a series of over 30 plus years of strife and issues within my family. But the crazy thing is, because I'm the firstborn, you can imagine my mom's only 15, she's the second of 7. So that makes me the eldest of anybody who would come from that entire generation, right?
Right.
And so I grew up with aunties. My aunties were little girls when I grew up. You know what I'm saying? At some point, somebody might think I might grow up and be gay. You know what I mean, or something. You know what I mean?
Just really
Um,
with the ladies, right?
huh?
Just really good with the ladies is what actually. happen.
That's what actually happened.
Right.
I respect women to a level degree. There's no woman walking that said I ever did anything crazy and trifling to her. I mean, I've had issues with women. I've even done something that I'm not proud of. I got angry enough to put my hands on a woman, and I had to admit to that. And I thought, because the next biggest trauma, besides all of that trauma that needed to be unpacked over years, is that the man that told my mom he would rescue her from all this turned out to be one of the most evil people you've ever met in the history of this world, man. Like, this guy was just, and I bear his last name. I am technically not of Alexander bloodline, but this man took my mother away at 15, states away. My brother and sister were born from that union, but this man was evil to the point he was a drug dealer. He once left my mom. He once brought a woman home. He was a pimp too. He brought a woman home, and I will never forget. I've never heard a human being cry this deep to this day. My mother holding me. I'm 5 years old. My mother's holding me, crying while he's making love to this hooker in their bed that he had bought home. He was a heroin dealer, a drug addict. He never put his hands on me though, because he knew I wasn't his. But I didn't know that as a young man. But he beat my mother like she was a UFC fighter. This little light skinned, fragile lady. I was sitting in front of her door with a cup like this, with a pen, scissors, freaking screwdriver. We got away from him from the states over that we were away from him. My little brother was born, then my little sister. This was 1979. I'm 6 years old. This man kicked a steel door off the hinges, boom, came in and commenced to beating my mom almost to death. For about 5 days, my mother was bruised and battered, naked. Little boy ain't supposed to see his mama naked, bruised and battered, but she could not move, even to get in the tub or anything. I sat in front of her door like a guardian, man, with this cup. Like, nobody gonna put their hands on my mom again. This man came in because the door's off the hinges 2 nights later, and I jumped up and stabbed him in his arm and hung on it with all my might while he tried to get me off. And to the day he went in the grave, he had a scar on his arm from me. And to this day, you will not touch one of mine. Not my nieces, my little cousins, any females in my family. I'm not even going to say on your airwaves what I would do.
Yeah. No, that's so traumatizing for it just breaks my heart thinking about the position that full grown adults bring children into this world and then are so careless in the positions that they put them in. And I'm not referring to your mom when I talk about that. I'm just referring to the lack of humanity for the most precious and vulnerable demographic of our nation. Like, I just think about these precious little babies and the position that you were put in as a young man breaks my heart for you. And seeing you like you are today also brings me so much joy in what God has done in your life at the same time.
You know, we go back to like the meanings we said of like Hebrew. So
Mhm,
the lettering in the word for Abba or father represents a shield and a house and strength.
mhm,
Even the symbol itself, right? And that's what I became. But unfortunately, a child is not a man.
mhm,
And I bore the weight of being a protector and having defend. And so when I left home, I went berserk. I went out into the world. But before I was 30 years old, I had been married, divorced, in and out the military, and gotten a college degree.
mm,
I left home. I've been in many states. I've been all around this thing, man. I went out to see things. I went out to gather information. I went out to live a life. I was an R&B singer. We went on the road. We did amazing things, you know. And but through it all, I never got rid of this trauma. So this trauma started aggregating other traumas. I was married to two different women that were violent. And as I see myself as a protector, they had their own issues because I became what we would call in the hood Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yeah.
You know, dun dun dun, put on a cape. My job is
Mhm.
to save this person.
Right.
You can't, I learned real quick, you can't save nobody but yourself.
Mhm, mhm. Well, and it's really, really common when you've been through so much too to just feel that vulnerable. I struggled with this for years. I still do to some capacity where I can feel that rescuer mentality come on, and
Yeah,
I have to really be intuitive with myself and have those conversations of like, why am I so
yeah.
drawn to this relationship? And when I start like popping the hood and actually looking at things, it's like we have the same wound here, but this one's open and mine is a scar now. And that's totally the dynamic. With but how were you told about the family dynamic, like the nature of your conception and all of the family stuff from an early age? Or and I guess when you learned the truth about your family, did it change the way that you viewed yourself for a time while you were working through that?
That's a great question that I have all the answers to. First of all, imagine that this person that you think is your grandfather never speaks to you. I mean, 16 years, this man never had a conversation with us. And he only came around during family events and holidays. So we would be like if my aunties got married, he'd be there because he was a chef and he would do all the food.
Interesting.
He he would do the food for the weddings and the births and the baby showers. And that's the only time we would see him. We'd sit in the room and watch Eagles games together. And he may say a blurb or two, but me and my cousin would be like, "What does Pop hate us? Why does Pop hate us? He don't like us. He don't hug us. He don't talk to us at all." Right? So that's so what happened is at 26 years old, I'm getting ready to go on tour with Wu-Tang, uh, all these R&B artists of that year, right? And so my auntie feels like I need to protect certain things about my identity in case it get out, in case tabloids or in case we hit it so big that all of that kind of stuff. She's like putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but you know, um, and so we're at a family function, and my wife at the time, the mother of my two wonderful kids who I was just with yesterday, she looked in a picture book and she said, "This guy that y'all say is David's father don't look nothing like him. But this other guy almost exactly like him." My aunt looked at my grandmother, they said, and they decided when we left, it's time to tell David because if we wait any longer, such and such and such and such. So they sit me down, my mother, my grandmother, and one of my aunties, and they had to call somebody they know going to keep me in check because by this point, I'm pretty much known to be a hothead and an angry young man. From previous things that I've done in previous years, I'm known to snap, crackle, and pop. Also, whether you believe in astrology or not, there's some things that just are true. I'm a Scorpio. I'm moved by the moon. So I'm an emotional man. And I had to come to grips with that because people would say, "Why do you act like a bitch? Why do you act like a girl? Why do you worry about things like girls worry about?" But I had to come to understand about myself is because I'm literally swayed. Like I can, and Scorpios have this energy where like we just nicest, sweetest people, but we will pop on you. We will absolutely go all the way to the pits with you. You know what I mean? So,
Much about astrology, but you're the only Scorpio I have ever met that I like. I can say that much.
wow, that's what's up. Yeah, we're great. We're great people, but see, there are negative things, but I'm not going to get into that part of it. All I'm going to say is just that they knew I was snap, crackle, and pop. And so what they did was, I don't have a problem telling the truth too. And that's another thing. I don't have any problem, and I'll tell the truth the way I see it. And I'm also kind of direct, which people may take as being an a-hole. That's a later story of how I got to that because I wasn't really that way when I was younger. It's like life did things to me that made me kind of just be like at a certain point. And this is one of the things. So at this meeting, they sit me down to talk to me and they tell me the story, right? And they say, "This is what happened. You know, my stepdad and my mother had a illicit sexual, had a sexual encounter and she got pregnant from me. And my grandmother said it was hard for her to walk down the street as a Christian woman. My mother is Jesus Christ's head cheerleader. Straight up. When she get to heaven, she got her own little place over there. where- She got the gold pom poms. She is an astute woman. She is the most astute woman I've ever met in my life. To not have a college degree and certain things, this woman is sharp. My grandmother's a sharp lady, and um, she said she had to hold her head high while walking down the street with people knowing. She heard people's whispering in the church. You know, that man only married that woman so he can get close to them girls. My grandmother got 7 beautiful girls. The Reynolds girls was known all around the neighborhood as, oh baby, that's that house right there. They got the dimes up in there. All my aunties beautiful. You know what I mean? Um, so he also touched one of my other aunts, and it made me understand why she was estranged from the family. She loved me, but she was estranged from the rest of the family. Um, Even to the point she changed her name to not
Okay.
be associated with the family. And so when they told me all of this, my wife said that I went to bed that night, and when I woke up, I was a different person. I was an absolute rage monster. I was
So,
so much of a rage monster that my young son went to school and threw a chair at his teacher because he saw me pull the entire entertainment center down in in an argument with my ex-wife. And he saw that and he became angry. And that hurt me.
so did they say that it was their decision to keep it from you, or was it his decision to keep it from you?
See,
Um,
that was the thing. That was the thing. I misinterpreted all the information and I assumed that my grandmother and my mother colluded to keep this man from me. And my argument was, okay, he did a bad thing, but I could be the thing that erases the dirt from his name. I can make him proud. I can be the difference maker. I can be the glue that brings it all back together again. Once again, I'm trying to save everybody. I'm putting on a
so
cape and I'm a young man. How can I do that? You know what I mean? And so what it was is I made assumptions. I did one thing that anybody that knows me would never think I would do. I cussed at my grandmother. I snapped and cussed at my grandmother. My auntie had to take me and sternly tell me, no, it's not what you think. First of all, I thought he initiated the whole thing, which is not necessarily fairly true. And I don't want to say any more about it. But also, he's the adult.
Right.
So
right.
it doesn't matter if affection was returned, he was still the adult and
Right.
should have controlled that whole thing. Um, but I had misconceptions about the whole thing. So I snapped on everybody, cussed everybody in the room out at a later date, but snapped, cussed, and I would never curse at my or around my grandmother.
So you
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
no problem. You talked about it's funny because when you first talked about your grandfather to us in the pre-show meetings, this was where I was very interested because you became you became this chef and your identity is ChefSouL, right? And
Yes.
this man, you when you talk about this man, the only time he shows up is when he's cooking. And so my mind started to say, okay, was it was it you trying to connect to him that brought you to become a chef because of the connection to food? Or was it more just, I guess, biological that his interest in in cooking was passed down to your interest in cooking? What was the relationship between cooking and your father, and how did this was there a relationship before you found out about this, or was this purely after, and was it effect of this? Or if it was before, how did your relationship with cooking change?
Well, one of my favorite statements, phrases these days is that two things can be true at the same time. So that's what it is here. Genetically, I believe I'm just a creative person. I believe, from my understanding, even of the tribal makeup of the ancient Israelites in the Bible, a certain specific skill or skill set, it travels in a family bloodline. So there are woodworkers, workers of gold, artisans, and that spirit is in that family. Musicians. David, for instance, my namesake, comes from a family of musicians. That's why he wrote poems and psalms. He comes from a family that had artistic vibe in it. So my grandmother's a singer. I have an auntie. I have at least two aunties that are singers. My mother's an artist. There's artists all in my family. So I believe it started there. And but also I think subconsciously, yes, to make a connection with him. And I think deep in my soul, what it is, my deep soul truth about it is that in some way I believe I can erase the dirt off of his name. And what I had to come to grips with is that he wasn't really a good person. He wasn't. I made up this image that maybe he was a good dude, maybe he wanted to get to me, maybe he wanted to spend time with me. Y'all blocked him, but my grandmother had to really be like, "Nah, that wasn't it.
And
I
I
gave you Christmas. I made him put money up so I could get you Christmas presents every year. I made him put money up when you needed money for this and that. But he kind of didn't want to have nothing to do with you. But what happened is, as fate would have it, he wind up having like 4 strokes in a row. My grandmother, because of her Christian moral base, would not leave him alone. Now, this man had a whole nother family. I have an older sister and a younger sister. Man had multiple other women, but he had a whole nother woman he was married to. And so he got sick. He was bedridden. My grandmother took care of him the entire time. The entire time, his last 4 years of life, that he had had 4 strokes, and it reduced him almost to a baby. Now, check this out. I go into the room. This is like 2000, this is 2012 now. I go into the room. There's a picture with a collage of pictures of everybody in the family, right? Him too, and all the pictures. And so the picture's laying on his bed as if somebody had held it up for him and just left it there when they left the room. So my grandmother had told me he had had the strokes and everything, so I come to see him. We're alone. I look around, and my grandmom's doing stuff, and I took his hand, and I put my hand on his, and I said, "Oh boy, I am not your judge. I am not your judge. Whatever you going through right now, I know you hear me in there. I just want you to know I'm your son. I'm not your judge. I don't wish to see you like this, and I don't hold nothing against you, man. I don't, you got to walk your own walk with God, man. I don't hold it against you, but I just want you to know I'm a good man and I do good in this world. And you would be proud of me, dog. I do good in this world. I'm going to erase this fucking stain, dog." And I told him that while I'm holding his hand, and he caught that because he took that picture and all he kept doing is pointing at my mom and saying, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Mind you, everything else he says sound like baby talk. I would come in the room and say, "Hey, the Eagles is winning, man. Did you see the game?"
Yeah.
This man took this picture and, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't make this. I don't make this up for dramatic reasons. I'm a dramatic person, but I swear on everything to you, man."
Sometimes God allows moments like that, especially after something comes to inhibit that type of communication, in this case, something medical that occurred for us in that moment. Like and
Goddamn, I
it's
had to let it go, baby. I had to let it go. It was heavy on me. It made me wonder, man, I went through life having to fight on my own, getting beat up first. Man, the first time I grew hair on my nutsack, I had to ask a man I don't know, a white man walking. I'm sorry to say it like that. I don't mean to bring any kind of color thing in, but I grew up in the projects. So when I use that vernacular, all I'm saying is at that time, being a young black man, I had to walk up to a strange man on the street and have a conversation with him like, "I do not know what's happening to me. My balls itch."
John is I can't relate, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
I got you, baby.
a mom, and so like it's like my mom passed away when I was going into my teen years. So same thing, like similar thing. You go through puberty as a kid, and you don't have for you a male figure in your life. For me, a female figure, and like I don't know who to talk to. I can't talk to my dad about this, and it and it's true. Kids do a lot of, and I say kids, and I mean like our unhealed inner kid, because a lot of people that have been through this level of shit in their life carry this with them well into their
Mhm.
early, mid, late 20s. Some people never put it down, but
Right.
those are the two people, like mom and dad, that make up identity. And it's really a hard thing when you've been fed, whether it's true or not, anything negative, because they're what adults oftentimes don't realize is that they're talking to a part of you. And we
Yeah.
have this natural defense to want to wipe that stain. Like, I'll make it right. Like, I'll cleanse that transgression that people are holding against mom, that are holding against dad. Like, I'll fix that. I'll do it. And isn't our burden to bear, but it's something
Right.
people really have a really difficult time letting go of, for good reason. I mean, I still struggle with it because for the longest time I was like, my dad's my only living parent. So I just clung to that relationship. It took me until December of just this last year, like what, 3 months ago, to be like,
Wow.
this relationship is hindering me too. And I've been clinging to it because I didn't want to lose the last parent I had. But it's true.
Wow.
This is what our inner child does to rationalize
Well,
things, you know?
yes.
So my question
Yeah.
to you is, where did Angry David turn into Soul David?
I hit rock bottom about 2 years ago now, man. I had a job that I loved. I was the executive chef for a doctor who was a cardiologist who had opened a plant-based restaurant as part of his medical practice. And I loved it because I literally thought that my schooling, by the way, I got my bachelor's degree in complementary and alternative medicine just last year to add to my associate's degree I got in 95. You know, it took me 6 years online, but University of Arizona, I got it, you know what I mean? And so one of my classes, I had to create a PowerPoint for a fictional facility and detail how it would run and what it would be about. And I literally created this place that really existed, but in my mind, I didn't know it existed. I had created this for my project. And then 2 months later, I saw an ad for a job. I was living in Houston, Texas. I needed a job. I saw an ad. I went as a temp, a worker for one day into this place. And I was like, oh, this is divine. I called this forward. Manifestation. I called this forward. I went to the owner's son, who was the GM, and I said, let me tell you something. You hire me because I saw issues. And from my restaurant experience, I'm like, no, this is not right. This is not. I said, tell you what, you hire me, my man. Not even as a leader or head chef. Hire me as just a worker. I help you get this place correct because it's an awesome place and you have an awesome idea and strategy here. And I want to be a part of it because I believe in holism, but there's some restaurant stuff that I can help you with to make it better. I became the head chef within 3 months.
Hmm, love
I
it.
became the executive chef. And from the accounts of the people that we served, they told me it was the greatest period of that place's existence. That because my job was after you see the doctor and he tell you what's going on with you, you come right into my office. And now we're going to create a menu and a diet plan for you based on the doctor's recommendations. So I had some people who were on, like, for 2 weeks, they'd be on a smoothie diet until their certain numbers got into a certain range. Then for the next 2 weeks, I would slowly introduce cooked food with no salt and no oil. I ran a kitchen that didn't use a drop of oil or a drop of bad salt. We used organic Himalayan sea salt, the healthiest salt if you're going to use salt that you could use. You know what I mean? But we did not heavily salt things. And I made almost anything you could think of. Pizzas, burgers, all made from plants, not Beyond Burger, baby, not no Morning Star. I'll make you a chicken sandwich what looks like a chicken sandwich from scratch from a ball of dough.
Mhm.
While I'm doing it, I'm praying over it. I'm listening to Stevie Wonder in the kitchen and bouncing, and everybody's happy and singing. And that all plays a part in it. And now when you get it, I told a lady whose daughter brought her in, said, this is our last stop. I think my mom's dying. She got kidney failure, just at the third. They talked to the doctor, Dr. Baxter Montgomery. They talked to the doctor. I told this lady's head is like this. She's in a wheelchair. She's drooling, almost can't control herself. But she likes the music I'm playing. I'm like, how you doing, mama? You good? You good? We gonna make you some food, okay? We gonna get you right. And she started bopping to the music. I said, oh, don't start dancing, because I will take you out of that chair. We gonna dance. I said, I'm gonna tell you what, when you finish with the doctor's orders, I guarantee you're gonna get out of that chair and you're gonna dance right here on this floor. Do you know within 60, it took a little longer than we thought. It was about 68 days. This lady went from 23 medications to 7. She drove herself to my office
It's awesome.
and came in there like, you owe me a dance, young man. And we danced. You know what I'm saying? So nobody telling me nothing against plant-based diet. I done seen people, I done seen it. But it's more than just a diet. It's an entire mind state. And that is what I more so offer people, to try to get you. There's a lot of people who make better food, better tasting food. Not many, but there's a lot. There's a lot. So that's not it. I'm a conductor of chaos. I know how to run a kitchen and a business. I will shrink your debt. I will push your bottom line up. I will take things that you would waste and turn them into profit. But not only that, I will create for you. And so that's why you won't see me. I don't post a lot of recipe videos or a lot of things, because I believe that we are like snowflakes. Each person is individual. What one of these fad diets might do for you might hurt John in certain ways. So I need to know you first. And so through my schooling, one of the things that is important in healthcare today is what's called collaborative healthcare, or comprehensive healthcare. And it means that all the people on your healthcare team are not only aligned, but they talking to each other. If you got a heart doctor, your heart doctor and your primary care physician should be conversing regularly about your situation. And you should be able to sit in there and talk as much as they do. Not you are being told stuff, not you are being pushed stuff on. You should be able to say, hey, this medicine, I don't really like it. Do I got something else that's more natural? You should be able, you're included. And Obamacare is one of the biggest things that help push it, but I'm not going to get political. But these ideas where now these healthcare providers have to come at you on these levels: comprehensive healthcare. And the next level is regenerative healthcare, because not only can you treat all of these diseases, you can regenerate from them. You can come back. You can absolutely defeat cancer. You can absolutely defeat diabetes. You can absolutely defeat anything that's out there. Are you ready and are you willing? Because it starts here. I can give you a meal plan. You may or may not follow it, but that's because it starts here and here. And so that is my biggest thing. That's why I'm ChefSouL. That's why I do the things, because I need to infuse you with everything possible. My energy, my spirit, because you got to live, baby. It's going to take a lot for you to live. It's not easy.
So, what do you think about food in today's society in general? And what I mean by is, I believe a lot of what you say, that the food, eating the right foods can definitely improve your health. Um, but I also know that here in America we have food that is killing us. Um, and I don't mean just the gluttony of food. I'm talking about the product of food. I'm talking
Yes.
about how we, and the worst word you can say to me is vegan or plant-based, because it took a lot of work to get me to look so good. It's a no this is a no vegetable zone. I've worked hard to get in the no vegetable zone. But it's a joke. It's a joke, people. Calm down. Calm down. Okay.
The SBZ,
But
Don't get us
but
canceled.
but even the vegetables that we used to grow in the ground are different today.
sure they
They're
are.
genetically modified. They're
Sure they are,
not,
Monson.
and I think that has a play in our health. But like everything to that we are putting in our bodies. I've actually, one of the things, like, I remember struck me on a Joe Rogan podcast one time, was like, he was over in Italy. He's like, I usually eat a pizza and I feel like crap afterwards. He goes, I
Mhm.
ate a pizza over in Italy and I felt like I could walk, you know, I didn't feel the crash that I normally feel in America eating American food. He goes, then I realized anything I eat over there, they eat all these pastas, all these carbs, and they don't feel sluggish afterwards. And it's because of the stuff that we're jamming into our food here that really is killing us. So do you, when you're talking to people about like changing their the way they eat, do you also bring up the quality of food, or is there stuff that even somebody who's quote eating healthy can make improvements on so that they can eat better healthy, you know?
Yes, and let me say this to preface that. So there are levels to this thing. And I find out that if you jam too much information at people too soon, it could disorient their understanding of things. So what I do is meet people on the level they're on. So if you want to talk about this level that a person would get to where they're looking at the actual ingredients, paying more attention to it, well, then a couple of things. Something either motivated you to do that, such as a doctor told you, man, you got to consume organic stuff, this, that, or third. So that makes you start studying about what's good organic and what's this and what's that and where the good products is, right? Um, what you say is correct. A lot of farming is corporate farming, X generation seeds, genetically modified. But what I will say is there are ways around it. There are products out there, and you have to put some energy into it. You have to look for these things. You have to try them. You have to taste something that you may not like the first or second time, and then be like, okay, if I do this to it, put a little salt, pepper on it, this is manageable. I know it's healthier. You have to stop being led by just the taste buds, because just the taste buds will get you in trouble each and every time. You have to really eat to live. And if you are motivated to do that, and so rather than waste my time and energy really throwing a bunch of information at you, I have to first get you deprogrammed from the regular American diet idea into something else, or else I'm really not going to waste my time with you, man. I can't Captain Save a Ho everybody. So you have to come into it with this mentality like, this is important to me. So I'm going to put the work in. And once you decide that, then it's easy to find organically made stuff, fresh farm to table stuff. This stuff is out there. It's just that there's more bad stuff. But again, the devil is always trying to what? Deceive your vision and make you think that it's harder. It's hard. It's hard to eat right. You know what that's saying? It's hard to live. I might as well just die. You might as well say the same thing. It's equivalent. It's hard to do this. It's hard to do this. A pack of cigarettes says on it that this thing will kill you. Why will people defend these and say, if you don't give me a cigarette, you don't love me? If you don't buy me a pack of cigarettes, you need to support my habit. Why would a human being who wants to live? Because if I asked every cigarette smoker, do you want to live? Hell yeah, I want to live. Why do you get to the deathbed with cancer and say, God, what did you do to me? MF, you smoked cigarettes for 65 years. What are you talking about?
Right.
Why would a sane mind? Why? Because the devil deceiveth the entire world. That means you who thought you were smart, you got deceived too. You who think you're doing the right thing, you got deceived too. You, for not to pick on you, John, but one of the most craziest things for a person to say is, I don't eat vegetables and fruit. You are made from organic material from the ground, the same as this stuff. You need this stuff. How about this? The thing that you eat needs this stuff to survive, to live, to be able for you to get him to be able to eat him. This cow needs to eat this stuff. This animal needs to eat this stuff. What are you talking about? But I understand why, because the devil deceiveth the entire world, all of us. And I feel like that's why you'll smoke a cigarette. Say, yeah, I want to live to be 90. crazy, right? It seems simple, but it's so crazy. So I understand why. So that's why I don't attack people. I meet them where they're at. And what's going to happen is once you really put the work in, I step back like I'm teaching you how to ride with training wheels. And I'm going to say, look, you're riding the bike by yourself. My job's done here. I can feed you all day. I can give you great meals and great food. I can give you recipes and all of this and all of that. But it will be a waste of both of our time if I cannot get you here first. If I can't get you here first, is no use in it. So I
And
got to get you to change stuff. I got to get you to say, instead of a no vegetable zone, I'm going to eat the ones I like. Everybody should be eating blueberries or walnuts or turmeric every day in some form or fashion. Why? Because they help cognitive disorders. They can help repair, keep you out of the zone of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and these cognitive decline things. And because they're natural, because of their qualities, because of their, inner qualities. Three of the most important things for cognitive, to fight against cognitive decline, I will tell you straight up: blueberries, walnuts, turmeric in some form or fashion, and whatever combination you want every day. Will you do it? Now that you know, will you do it? Or you walk past the
I already do it.
blueberries and be like, I know this guy just told me about blueberries, but I don't really want blueberries. I want a cheesesteak.
A blueberry cheesecake.
No, I said cheesesteak. Now, if you
Oh,
can
I
make a
thought you said
cheesesteak out of
cheesesteak.
blueberries,
I was like,
you gotta give
blueberry
me that
cheesecake.
recipe.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean cheesesteak.
Well,
So
and
this is what I mean.
it's hooked on this stuff so early too, because it's just like they advertise these quick, easy meals for moms. Like, you had a busy day, you work, just throw some of this shit in the air fryer and call it a day for your kids. And we're not accounting for the fact that we are literally altering their chemistry and how their body responds to food that is good for them by feeding them this crap. And it drives me nuts because my son's dad eats like shit. I mean, the man could live on chicken noodle soup, and I hope he sees this clip. Just clip this, because like I need the world to pester him about this for him to realize that he's setting the example for my kids. But like, I am such a health nerd, it's almost excessive. Like, I was at a point where I had 3 kids back to back. I was the heaviest I had ever been after being an all-star track athlete, like having college scholarship offers and doing all that stuff was great. And then you have 3 kids. I had sepsis and I didn't feel like me anymore. Like, I felt like trapped in my own skin. And I seriously just woke up one day and was like, this is something I can control. And it was just this
Hmm.
switch, and lost a ton of weight over the course of the next year and was just religious about the food
Hmm.
that I eat. But there's still so much to it's like the 80/20 rule, because you still have, like, I'm not trying to, like, punish my kids for my obsession. So, like,
Sure.
they have McDonald's, it's on the way, but, like, we don't do it every week, that kind of thing. And so, I don't know, it's just interesting to me how marketing plays an
Hmm.
effect. And one of the things
Yeah.
you said too about having to change your mindset before, otherwise it's a waste of time. What about the vice versa? Like, how does the food that you eat affect your mental state once you get to that point?
Well, w- so it's just like when you work out at the gym and you walk past that mirror and be like, oh, shoot, I'm doing something. I'm losing it all. I look good, baby. Right? What'll happen is your mind will start motivating you because you'll start seeing little things. For instance, you'll be like, you know what? I had a lot of energy today.
Mhm.
You know what? My skin looks like it's doing a little something. Hold up. And that'll help push you. Plus, if you got me as your consultant, I'm in your ear, like we in the gym. Go ahead, get that up. You can do it. You know what I mean? Like, so run another mile. You can get it. Go ahead, push it up. You know what I mean? So and so what happens is then you yourself, that's what I mean, I walk away, you start you'll start telling yourself, I don't need this or that, I'm going to try this or this.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what, I like this. You know what I mean? For me, chicken wings. Eagles football Sunday, chicken wings, right? So then, as I'm becoming vegan, I would say I tried vegan wings. They suck. They're terrible. If I didn't learn how to make them myself, every vegan mock wing out there is terrible. It's disgusting. I wouldn't feed it to my dog. And so I had to develop so I took mushrooms. I started battering them. way before anybody else was. I really tell you, I've been doing this a long time. I started battering mushrooms just like chicken. I learned that if you press the water out of mushrooms, take on a almost meaty chicken-like consistency. You know what I mean? As long as you press the water out of them really, really good. And I battered them and did everything you would do to a chicken, and that became sufficient for me. Then I moved up to a level like I desire them less and less. First, my stomach would have trouble. I would have because first of all, I'm a person that believes in cheat days. And if I was to consult with you, I would give you cheat days. I would give you days that you could eat something of what you want because I already know the other days of the week I'm gonna take bread, dairy, and other things from you. And then what is going to happen is in a couple months, you're going to say, I don't want macaroni and cheese on Saturday night no more because I got the bubble guts and I'd rather have something else like cauliflower wings or I'd rather have just a salad. I'd rather have something.
John's
You're going
like
to do that
dying
yourself.
inside.
You're going to start doing that yourself and you're going to tell yourself, I don't want to do this to myself anymore. Coupled with the fact that the other things you're doing are showing results and you're going to relent because it's not Dave telling you at a certain point. It's going to be you telling you.
So I will say, I love this, and it's funny. The thing I heard that stood out to me right there was the thing that and it made me laugh, and I wanted to say something right away, but I didn't want to interrupt your thought. I just love the part where you're like, "Yeah," and I'm watching them on the camera, "Run another mile." I'm like, here he is sitting in his chair telling the other person to run another mile.
Yeah.
But before I ask my last question for you, um, I will say this. I was working at the casino, and I had heard, um, there was this trend going out there that you could make cauliflower taste like mashed potatoes, right?
He's easily done.
And so I'm in a casino in the break room one day, and this girl's like, "Oh, I got broccoli that the cauliflower that tastes like mashed potatoes." I'm like, "Give it to me," because in my head I was like, "Dude, if I could, if I could trick my mind into thinking that cauliflower tastes like mashed potatoes, I'm sold. I don't, because I love mashed potatoes, right?"
Hmm.
I took one bite and I was like, "Ew, this is disgusting. This does not taste like mashed potatoes."
We gotta
Like,
have
Yeah.
David make it for you. Here's the move, right? We have a
You.
party, and we bring
Hmm.
all of the guests that have been featured on the Common Ground podcast. David
Hmm.
gets to cook, but we don't tell them what's in it. And then we
Hmm.
have people like we make a game out of it.
Yeah. I got you. I got all. Listen, you like hot dogs? You like hot dogs and sausages, right?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
tell you,
but yeah,
every every person that I know that I did this with, not one of them ever, ever, ever said that I was wrong. I will take a carrot and make it taste like a grilled hot dog that you had on a 4th of July day.
that's
And
crazy.
everything about it will resemble a hot dog
All
from the
right,
texture of it,
this
the
happens.
flavor, the smokiness, everything about it. And it'll be on a bun with mustard and relish. And you will be like, there's no way this is not a hot dog, dude.
I'm in. This is a game changer. Where this is a party.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for it if you can make it a reality, but no relish. Relish, it'd have
Set
to
it
be
up,
ketchup.
baby.
It'd have to be ketchup instead of relish for me, but
You put ketchup on a hot dog?
yeah,
You from Philly, John? It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
no,
not
I'm
Philly.
playing.
really?
No, I'm always playing.
So
Mm.
so this has been an interesting conversation, but, to kinda wind things down, if you could go back to one point in your life and you could talk to yourself, um, when would you choose to go back to, and what would you say to yourself?
That's a good one. I would say I would go back to myself the night they told me that information. The night that they told me the information about about the truth about my dad's situation. I think I would go back to there and say, I would probably say something to myself like, go ahead and cry, go ahead and let it out, go ahead and scream at the sky, go ahead and be angry, go ahead and go down to the mat. But before that count reached 10, you better stand up and start swinging again. And I think I would deal with anger different. I think I would make different choices at that time. And I think I'd have told myself things like, don't bear this cross. But I'm a firm believer, like I said, go ahead. If it hurts, trying to stop it and block it makes it hurt more. Go ahead and cry it out. And once it's out, and once you've gotten rid of it and you say you finished with it and you put it down, then really put it down and do not let it springboard you into any other bad actions.
Good.
Key takeaways.
For me, what I'm taking away from this conversation is sometimes I was trying to decide which way I want to do this analogy, and I'm going to go this way. Sometimes you're given a set of ingredients that you don't think you can make a master meal out of. But there's always if there's a will, there's a way, and you can always make something spectacular out of the hand that you were given. And so it was really awesome to hear that where you started in life didn't dictate how you choose to end your life. You get to choose. You, as you kind of say, like, choose your heart, kind of like you can uh, take what life's given you and
Yeah.
allow that to determine what the path that you're going, or you can choose to rewrite your story and to change your path. And that doesn't always mean
Yes.
changing your passions, changing your sometimes I think people think that to change your direction, you have to change what you love. And it's not, again, it's we look at things so much on the outwardly that, and I love that's why, and we didn't get into the as much as the deeper as I would have loved to today,
Mm,
but why going deeper matters because
mm,
um when you look at, like, say you change direction, and I even had a guy in my car this morning, um who went to we started talking, and he went to a seminary
hmm
that I thought as a kid I was going to end up going to. And he
Okay.
went there to be a pastor, but he's he knew that that wasn't his life at a certain point. But that doesn't take away from the things that he desired about pastoring, right? It doesn't
hmm
take away the gifts that he has. He's just using them in a new way. So
hmm
even and those are and when you really break it down, that's really what he was passionate about, right? It wasn't
hmm
necessarily the outward job. It was doing what he wanted, which is having an impact on people, caring for people, choosing to spread God's word. And
hmm
he's doing translation instead of pastoring. But that wasn't, to me, like, sometimes we think the gift or the passion is the end result, and we miss
hmm
that is actually the things that make the end result. So
Yes.
sometimes, and I tell people this all the time, sometimes your changing of your life story doesn't have to mean you change your passions. You can take what you're passionate about and redo it into a
Yeah.
different way. So
Yeah.
that's my key takeaway through listening to your story, because that's what I feel like you've done. You've taken your life and you've taken the things that have meant the most to you and you've brought them through on your journey.
Hmm.
hmm I'm very fortunate. I've been able to feed myself with my two greatest passions, food and music. And it's been an awesome ride. One day I'll tell you all my music industry stories, man.
Yeah, we'll have
Well, I can't tell you all of them because they're crazy, bro. But I mean, and there's a lot of them. But I'm a man of many stories. Everybody knows I man of many stories. But thank you guys for having me in your space. I really appreciate it. I love the Common Ground podcast. I've caught several episodes. I think what you guys are doing is awesome, and very much happy to have been a part of it.
We've got two more things here for you. We're going to ask you, I'm going to tell you my key takeaway, and we're going to invite our listeners to give theirs. And then we're going to do our final five, and we'll wrap up here in just a second. But
Gotcha.
John took my key takeaway. That was very similar to mine, but mine is really just that sometimes the thing that came to break you does end up becoming the exact thing that is the tool that you can use to help others. And
hmm
I liked the way that you said it because you started with this concept of servitude. And pain can either make somebody bitter or it can make them have this ability to be a servant to the world in an area where it could really need it. So, just
Yeah.
after everything that you've been through and, on top of what John said about, like, it doesn't have to be you don't have to have this grand gesture thing, right? Like, you don't have to go
Yeah.
nonprofit. You don't have to go solve world hunger and maybe you do, right? And all of that's fantastic, but it doesn't lessen the impact. Just the message that you give through all of the avenues that you serve people is a testimony in and of itself. So that's my key takeaway is that you can be a servant in any field that you're in, no matter what you've been through. And I encourage people to reflect on their own stories so that they can think about how they can be a servant in their circle of influence, whether it's their work, whether it's a business that they're starting, and how their testimony or how their personal story can be something that becomes a tool for others like you've done. So that's my
Mhm.
but David, if you wanted the audience to have just like one gold nugget from today, what would you want our listeners to take away from today's episode?
You know what? In honor of my man John and myself, and you're an honorary Philadelphian. I W like nights can night another night. I W an honorary Philadelphia. But I'm gonna say, man, because of the persona of the Philadelphia area, even though fictional characters like Rocky or whatever and sports figures we've had, Frazier, I think, gave Muhammad Ali his first L, and Joe Frazier. I know the Eagles beat the great Vince Lombardi, the whole trophy is named after. And so all I'm saying is we have kind of a fighter mentality, and I want people to take that into this life. Don't ever stop swinging. Don't never stop swinging. Keep your hands up. Every problem that you got to face, if I can share this real quick, it's very special to me. And I'm sorry if it goes over a little bit of time, but it ties into what I'm saying. I had an estranged relationship with my kids. I'm not going to get into why with two of my children. I'm here in Philly this weekend to not only visit family, but because my daughter recently got married and I now have a son-in-law, you know what I'm saying? And yesterday, me and my son had breakfast. And to know that my son has the chef genes, my son likes baking. I thought he was going to be a journalist. He graduated from Drexel. I thought he was going to be a journalist. Or I'm telling you, he went to Drexel. And so to know that his interest in food and that he's really good. All his friends and his mother say that, no, this kid's really good. He can bake his own bagels from scratch, which is an art. And he made some English muffins. He's so proud of it. I'm looking at this kid like, oh my God. We had a difficult relationship because I lost about 7 years of time with them. That's another story. But the point of it is I kept swinging. And I kept saying, one day I'm gonna have a relationship with my kids. I felt like a bad dad for years. Father's Day come around, I'm like, I'm not that great of a dad, man. I allowed 7 years to transpire between me and my children while I chased a music dream or this girl or this woman, this business. All my experiences came at a price, baby. You know what I mean? I missed something by being out there having them experiences. There's something I missed here, So all I want everybody to know is you can lick any problem you got. It starts here. You can lick it. I don't care. I seen it. I don't care if the doctor told you, man, You got 2 months to live. You better take that 2 months and put your hands up and swing your way out of it, man. Just put your back against the wall and swing at I'm taking cancer, schizophrenic, whatever, dementia's trying to get me. And what I mean by swing is keep studying, keep listening to podcasts like this. Hold on to that rail that is your faith or spirituality. I don't care what you call God. What I know is that if your mind says it's real, who am I to tell you it ain't real? I don't care if you worship a head of cabbage. Who am I to tell you it's not real? If you believe that that's real, then use that and lean on it and keep swinging, baby. Keep swinging, baby.
I like the keep swinging message.
Keep
John,
swinging.
roll us in.
So, yes, for our viewers, we would love to hear your key takeaways. So give us your takeaway from today's episode. And that's going to bring us to our final five.
The final five.
So the first question is, who is your hero and why?
One of my hero is, singular. All right, so I'm gonna say my uncle Derek. My uncle Derek passed away. He was one of the early COVID victims when the COVID thing was going down. And my uncle Derek was, to me, he was what I try to see myself as. He was cool as Denzel, slick, smooth, handsome. I wear male jewelry because of him, because he always had nice gold rings and watches. He was a bit of a thug, a bit of a player, a gambler. He taught me how to gamble. A scientist. He was well versed in many, many things. Ladies' man. He looked good in a suit. And so that was my hero, my Uncle Derek.
I love it. The second question for you is going to be in a similar breath. You mentioned that you're a huge Marvel fan. So if you had to relate most to one character, it could be DC or like, I don't care which it is, but who is the superhero that you're like, I resonate with this the most? That's who I would be.
Years ago, I would have said the Hulk because I was a rage monster.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I will say, I want to say Black Panther, not only because I'm black, and I love but to be honest, that's a good one, Sydney. I ain't gonna front. It might sound cheesy and corny, but it's probably Captain America.
Okay.
Because Captain America's he takes on, he's like, I'm ready for anything. I could do this all day, baby. I'm ready for anything. You tell Cap the plan, he don't be like, man, he's like, all right, well, if that's gotta do what I gotta do, kick that shield up, put it on his shoulder, like, let's go get it. If that's what the plan is, then let's go do it. He don't have no fear. He's not gonna let fear creep in and think that he can't do it. It don't matter if it's a space age cosmic problem, a street level problem. Cap down for the fight. Cap is down for it. And he comes into it with the mentality, we gonna win. We gonna win. I can't even let nothing else in here. We gonna win. And he has that protective heart, like I need to protect people. I'm a servant, right? Yeah, see, I didn't even think about that. Like Cap's the ultimate servant, dude.
True. I love it.
I thought he was going to say my superhero is Savaho. Captain Savaho.
Oh my God.
Captain Saberho. That was great. That was good.
All right, what is one book, quote, verse, saying, song you live by or has had a great impact on your life?
Book, quote, verse.
Either one of them, like just something. It can be any of those things.
Okay.
You know?
I do have many. But I would say one of my favorite ones is study to show thyself approved. And I think that I'm one of the smartest people on the earth behind that, because I can have a conversation with any man on this planet. I'm confident. I can talk about art. I can talk about ancient history because I wanted to know all this stuff. I wanted to be a sponge. I don't like being a person in a room that doesn't know something, maybe is ego driven, but I know a lot of stuff, man. I could go in Jeopardy, bro. I'd sit and watch Jeopardy all the time. Like, man, if I felt like it, man, I'd get up there and go on there, man. But yeah, study to show thyself approved. Who said that you got to be one thing? I look at the bust of of Ben Franklin and George Washington. It says inventor, scientist, politician, da da da. Da. Who told you got to be one thing?
I love that. That's good. Next question for you is going to be if you were cooking a meal for, it could be anybody, your family, the people you love, it could be the president, Queen of England. What meal would you make that would represent just you the best?
It would be so eclectic, first and foremost.
I love
It
that.
would be so eclectic. So like it would be so first of all, it'd be a 4-course meal. So we starting off with my appetizers would probably be something from Philly street food. So like patillos. I'll probably start you with a little light, nice little light patillo with a little dipping sauce, some Spanish flavor to represent the Spanish hoods in Philly, my peoples, you know what I mean? And definitely something soul foodish. So probably we would go next with like, and I like doing spins on a weird idea. So I love that Asian food is my top favorite culture of food. So representative of the great Chinese food places in Philly, I'd probably do some type of Asian dish, like Asian soul food mix type of dish.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's General Soul's chicken instead of General Soul's chicken, you know what I mean? Or something like that with a nice rice and vegetable. And then we're going to go, I'm definitely going to do a salad representative of my Italian section of Philly. So it'd probably be a nice arugula salad with a nice honey balsamic dressing, you know what I mean?
You love it.
And then for dessert, I might try to twist an Italian dessert too, because I love the Italian bakeries in South Philly, man. So I'd probably do something funky with like maybe a cannoli, a jazzed up cannoli of some type. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
Very eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Be all over the place, yeah.
If you could sit down and have a conversation and a meal because you're a chef. Usually it's a drink, but for you it's going to be a meal. If you could sit down and have a conversation and a meal with somebody living or dead, who would it be and why?
Nice one, nice one. I'm gonna try to avoid the corny with like people say Jesus and this person, some of the biblical. Ah, I'd love to have a talk with King David from Jerusalem. I'd love to. Let me see. Um, Good one, man.
King
All right,
David's
let's
good.
see.
We've never had King David before.
Yeah,
We've
cause
gotten Jesus
Dave,
twice, 2 times, I think. But
yeah,
yeah,
at
King
Jesus
David, we
twice.
haven't. Yeah, yeah.
I can't front. You know what? Because David, my namesake, he's a fascinating guy because he really wasn't a good person. He actually was kind of an asshole. If you really read the descriptions of David but God loved him so much, even though he was an a-hole sometimes, gave him a whole kingdom, treated him. Yeah, it probably had to be King David. He went from killing a giant with a slingshot and being the darling of and he sent a guy. He basically committed murder. He sent a guy to die so he could take his wife. God should have punished him so many times, killed him, gave him a long life, even said, you know what? I made all the rest of your kids hate you, but Solomon loves you. I'll give you one more child that will love you. Because the rest of the kids tried to kill him. You know what I mean? So King David's an interesting dude to me, man. He wrote songs to the Lord. The Lord loved this dude. It reminds me of the love of a parent for a child. You know this little rotten thing need some help, but you love him. You love him. You love him. And you just want to coddle him and give him everything and help him not be so rotten.
I love it. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, David, who would have a conversation with King David, it's been fun. If people want to follow you, consult with you for nutrition, just watch your story and get to, be friends with you kind of thing, where can they go? How can they find you?
Man, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, if you put in the term Chef Soul all as one word, I should definitely pop up. Um, I only use Instagram for business stuff, but I have a podcast on YouTube. It's called The Smartest Podcast in the World. It's on my ChefSouL page. You enter that term right there in the YouTube, or YouTube /ChefSouL. My website is www.thechefsoul.com. You can find out about things I do, whether traditional, I do both. I do traditional and vegan catering. I'm going to tell all you vegan enthusiast people out there, stop talking down to people just because they're not on the same level of understanding as you. Because now vegans is getting crazy and starting to be mean to other people who are non-vegans and stuff and judgmental. And I don't like that. You're not supposed to do that. So I'm going to tell you to stop that. And
Stop vegetable shaming people.
stop it. That we're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to live by example or help people reach a level of your understanding. You don't make fun because you're in the 8th grade. You don't make fun of first graders because they don't know history. They only in first grade right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, those are pretty much it. Instagram, I don't really mess with X. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also my thechefsoul.com website.
Sounds great. We will link those below.
Yeah. And YouTube also, the smartest podcast in the world.
Awesome. What a great conversation today. Definitely enjoyed it. Remember, when we take the time to hear someone's story, it gives us the opportunity to find common ground. Thank you again, David, for being our guest today. And for Sydney and I, it has been our pleasure to be your host, and you have been listening to the Common Ground Podcast. God bless and good night.
And that's it for today's episode of the Common Ground Podcast. We hope you're leaving with a little more perspective, a little more purpose, and a whole lot more inspiration.
So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. Thank you to our special guest.
If today's conversation moved you, encouraged you, or challenged you in any way, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, rate it, leave us a review. Your support helps us reach more people who need to find their own common ground.
So for John Fletcher and Sydney Curtin,
we'll see you right here next week, same time, same place on the Common Ground Podcast.
Please take a moment to listen to this disclosure from the Common Ground Podcast. The Common Ground Podcast is dedicated to exploring commonality among individuals with diverse perspectives. Our guests may present unique worldviews related to health, psychology, and overall well-being. Please note that the Common Ground Podcast does not directly promote or endorse any specific ideas, concepts, or actions discussed during our episodes. Listeners are encouraged to approach the information shared with discernment and to consult with their mental and/or physical health providers before making any changes to their health or wellness practices. The views expressed by guests and hosts are their own and do not directly reflect the opinions of the Common Ground Podcast. Your well-being is important, and we advocate for informed decision-making. Thanks for listening.